You! Get your hand out of your pants.
Please put your tray table up. Put the crack pipe down.
You're the least without sin person I know.
Errol, we are on the air right now.
Oh, I was digging for gold.
Wow. That's what's eating Gilbert Grape, my friends.
Well, listen, call me casual, but I love to take my time.
I don't know where your head ends and this weird turtleneck sweater begins.
Speaking of which, whatever happened to that porn star you were dating?
Oh my God, it's huge.
And now,
It's West.
by Midwest.
It's Monday, October 21st, 2013. This is episode 37 of West by Midwest. My name is Chuck Antroy. I'm broadcasting live from Los Angeles, California.
My name's Errol Gribble. I'm broadcasting live from Lansing, Michigan. And our producer, Rob Hubbard, is broadcasting live from
Chelsea, Michigan.
There he is. Chelsea,
Nice.
Michigan.
What's up, bro?
What's up?
We're broadcasting live on Google Plus Hangouts, friends, and if you like our Facebook page, facebook.com/WestXMidwest, you'll find the link every Monday to our Google Hangout so you can watch us record live. And when the podcast is over, the audio recording of it will be available on iTunes. So subscribe, stream, download on iTunes.
So hang out on Google Plus to make the show better, and then listen to the better one on iTunes. This podcast is brought to you by Ed Grabo. When you're sliding into first and your pants begin to burst, Ed Grabo.
Ed Grabo.
Thank you, Ed
Ladies and
Grabo. Oh, man.
Friends, you're going to want to stick around. What's that, Errol? What were you
No, go ahead, please. This is our timing's great fucking tonight. This is awful. It's like the longest pause before the introduction ever, and now. Oh man.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to want to stick around for the second part of this show because our guest this week is Les Jenkins, the genius behind the blog StupidEvilBastard.com.
Internet celebrity
Internet
Leslie
celeb.
Jenkins.
He's
Also my brother-in-law, which is how we were able to get him. But this guy's had a blog on the internet since before it was invented.
He was at the advent of the internet, wasn't
Yes,
he?
he's a relic from the early days of the interwebs. So we're gonna have him on. He talks about all things internety and nerdy, but also atheist. So that should be fun.
Oh, cool.
To, roll with the heathens for a while.
Excellent. So, yeah, stick around for Les Jenkins, second half of the show. Happy belated World Vasectomy Day, ladies and gentlemen.
What?
Friday, October 18th was World Vasectomy Day here in the United
Hey.
States. And I just wanted to alert our producer, Rob.
Rob, happy World Vasectomy Day.
World Vasectomy Day.
Maybe
wanna
you
think
should
about
get a vasectomy.
You're absolutely right. I will use this opportunity to plug a show that my girlfriend is managing, or her theater is performing, The Vast Difference, which is basically about vasectomies.
There you go. The positive side effects of getting your tubes cut.
It's really more about the struggles a man goes through in accepting the idea of getting a vasectomy and going forth with it.
Sounds great. So you're getting your tubes cut.
Yep.
Please
Good for you.
get them
Please,
tied.
before pop out more babies. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Anyway, Chuck, you had a big weekend, man.
Yes, I completed the Temecula half marathon yesterday morning. That was
Congratulations,
Crazy.
35 miles.
no, 13.1 miles. Nothing big.
That's big though. A half marathon, something, man.
I did.
Is that why you got a new haircut to celebrate the half marathon?
Yeah. Well, no, I wanted to, get a little sleek, a little more aerodynamic for.
Sure. Cut down some time.
So
How was your time? How'd you do? Did you do good?
1:48:58. I ran it in 1 hour and 48 minutes.
Wow.
Which I bested my personal record, which was the Pasadena half marathon. I ran in 2 hours and 7 minutes. So I
Oh my God.
beat my time. Overall placed 79 out of 1,177.
Hey, congratulations.
finishers.
Holy cow.
Which I don't do math, and I don't think you do either, but my
Nope.
cousin's daughter was like, "You're in the top 7%."
Wow,
So,
7%.
kind of crazy there. I was like, and the other thing was that this half marathon took place at Wilson Creek Wineries in Temecula, and
So everybody was drunk.
everyone was wasted. All the people at the finish line waiting for us. But it was a lot of hills, a lot of crazy.
Oh
hills.
yeah,
That was
my God.
that was the thing that my cousins, they were at the finish line, and everyone that crossed was just like, "Oh my God, there's so many hills."
But
It
you
was,
handle hills well, apparently.
No, I didn't. I guess so, but I didn't train for any kind of elevation.
Did you run barefoot like those people in Mexico?
Hell no, dude. This ain't the Serengeti. I'm not running away from some tiger. All right, I use technology.
Good for you. Proud of you.
Thank you. The crazy thing about it was that there was a ton of because it was on this winery, there was a bunch of horse poop all over the trail. So it was like,
well, gives you incentive to run faster.
I know, it was like couldn't breathe for the first couple of miles.
Well,
Anyway,
I had a student. I started my acting class tonight, and I had a student who just finished a half marathon, the Detroit Free Press half marathon.
oh, awesome.
He did that yesterday, so he was like limping. He was like, "Man, I'm not doing so well today. I can't move around a lot." But yeah, so that was cool. I got to start my acting class. And Rob Hubbard is in an acting/directing class. Rob, how's that going?
That's going great.
Thanks.
There you go.
Can you elaborate? No. Well, how was your acting class, Errol? How did that go?
Well, I feel really underprepared. Oh, wait, let me give a Rob answer. Well, great. Moving on.
Are you teaching children or adults?
No, adults. The fundamentals of acting, and I have, a couple sort of recent college grads all the way up to like this quite elderly lady.
Half marathon runners and elderly.
Everybody, yeah, wheelbarrow
walks of
bound, all walks of life. I felt sort of super unprepared and like, who the hell am I to be teaching these people? But they all seem really happy. We did a lot of fun exercises today, and then next week we will roll into monologues. Right. So if anybody wants to join the class, you can learn how to not do a podcast from Errol Gribble.
You can, please join the class because there might be a few dropouts after this first.
President. There's only 6 people in it right now. There's going to be like 3 next week.
Where are you teaching?
At the Performance Network in Ann Arbor.
Why can't Rob take your class?
Right, Rob, you're like right around the corner. Why can't we just join efforts?
I was going to take your class. We were talking about it, and then I got into this class I'm in instead.
A better class is what he's saying.
This one didn't cost me any. Well, we worked out a barter.
Oh, right.
Oh. So with
Rob's
you, we
sexual favors.
Such as cleaning toilets.
For cleaning toilets.
Yeah, we were talking about sneaking me into your class or something like that. And it was,
why don't you?
If you want to sneak in, you can, but you've got class now. Monday nights.
Now. I'll take your next one.
Yeah, that's not. I'm never going to get rehired.
Rob could be your TA.
I'll be the TA.
Hand out pencils.
Give out the syllabus.
If how he produces a podcast is any clue as to how he could help me out in class, I don't think I need.
All right, moving on to the news.
He's like, I'm eating my chips. Oh, God. Why is he a part of our podcast? He's so angry all the time.
So listen, I saw this article about something that would benefit you greatly. I think it would benefit all of us greatly.
Yeah, what you got?
A new line of underwear that filters out farts.
What?
Yes, a healthcare underwear company has designed a range of briefs and boxers which use chemical warfare technology to filter unwanted gas.
Are you kidding me? Like Army chemical warfare technology?
That's right. The high-tech pants, created by Shreddies Ltd, based in England, feature a Shreddies.
Like what you do if you don't use these.
Exactly. You're gonna shred your underwear. Okay. Feature a highly absorptive carbon cloth back panel, which traps and neutralizes flatulence odors.
Awesome.
The thin and flexible cloth, which contains Zorflex, which is the same activated carbon material used in chemical warfare suits.
Oh my God, for real?
That's right.
That is amazing.
Reactivated by simply washing the pants.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Shreddies say, though, through the extensive testing, the carbon cloth could filter odors 200 times the strength of average flatus emission.
Flatus emission.
So
that's what I'm pumping out, though.
That's what. Yeah, you're at 200 times, whereas the normal human being is at the average flatus emission.
But I'm covered. That's good, because as you know, my flatus can shreddy some underwear.
The award-winning healthcare product is particularly useful for sufferers of digestive disorders such as IBS, Crohn's disease, colitis, and food intolerances. Or if you're Gribble.
I don't have like Crohn's disease.
No.
I just have really nasty flatus emissions. That's my new word, man, for the day.
Emissions. Yeah, that's right.
Hey, Lynn, could you excuse me for a moment? I got some flatus emissions coming out. I wish it sounded adorable like that. No, oh, man.
Women can buy shreddies in briefs, high-leg briefs, or shorties, while men can purchase support boxers, adjustable support boxers, hipsters, and briefs.
All right. So as long as you keep it clean, folks, like you can't like dirty out and just be like, oh, and then 3 weeks later, this shit don't work. You got to clean it and renew. God, that must be the most expensive underwear ever.
So wait, it only smells clean when they're clean?
No, it works, but like it stops working if it's dirty.
Yeah, the carbon is reactivated when it's washed.
It doesn't work when you dirty it?
Yeah, but like dirty it as in like wearing your underwear more than one day. Please tell me you change your underwear every day, Rob Hubbard.
2-3 times a day. Don't
That's
you?
That's gross. You don't. I mean, yeah. So if you soil your underwear, my friend, which apparently seems to be a problem for you, then yeah, it's not going to work.
Yeah,
but
Shreddy
for flatus emissions, right?
Shreddy doesn't do anything about track marks or anything.
Right,
like that. You have to wash it.
You gotta wipe thoroughly, and you gotta wash your undies. Okay, wash those shreddies.
They're gonna stink.
Rob Hubbard.
I know what I'm getting you guys for Christmas, though.
Yeah, you probably can't afford them. It's probably like $300 underwear, which for me would be worth it. So, Rob, if you and Chuck could get together on this, Santa wants me some shreddies. Rob, you can ask Santa. We're gonna have Santa on the show at some point.
Yeah,
ask Santa for some shreddies.
Well, yeah, we'll get Santa on right before he goes into the actual heart of his season.
Right before he goes to the North Pole, I thought that's what you were gonna say.
No, like, right before
don't even say it.
He shreds his pants. He's gonna get. So a man chainsaws a hole into a restaurant so he can finish his pudding.
What?
Speaking of stretch marks. Or speaking of track marks, I got nothing. Anyway, what am I doing? Yeah, hell hath no fury like a man denied his last few bites of pudding. Especially if that man is Peter Svacha, 36-year-old man in Zlin, Czech Republic. Svacha was eating at a restaurant recently when employees told him to leave because it was closing time, right? Even though he wasn't finished with his chocolate pudding. Which, P.S., totally rude. Rob Hubbard, you've worked, both of you. Chuck, you currently work at a restaurant.
That's right.
You don't do that to people.
You know what I did? Yeah, you're not supposed to. I mean, as long as they're in there before the kitchen closes, they can order and they can hang out as long as they want.
Right? Yeah, or even, but this, I mean, I guess they could.
You drop pants, you turn the lights up, you turn the music off, you start cleaning everything else a little bit closer to these guys.
Sure,
so they get the hint that it's time to go.
You could even say, I think it's even okay to say, we're closing soon, but you don't kick somebody out before they're done.
No.
Right. So this man clearly wasn't pleased. He apparently got his just desserts shortly thereafter.
What did he do?
Officers say Svacha came back to the eatery, this time with a chainsaw, and he cut a hole in the restaurant. He sliced a hole in the door, climbed inside, went back to his table, like the exact same spot. His pudding was still there.
What?
Yeah, they hadn't cleaned it up yet. They've been like, get out. And he was like, fuck you, I'm going to get my chainsaw. But it was Russian, so it's, I don't know Russian for fuck you, I'm going to go get my chainsaw. But when he grabbed the half-finished dessert, he was overpowered by a waiter and handed over to the police. Yeah.
Why did he bust out the chainsaw?
Because he wanted to get back in.
No,
They were like, sorry, door locked. And he was like, oh, yeah? Now there's no door.
Yeah, but this waiter overpowered him. He didn't bust out the chainsaw.
Oh, yeah, clearly the man wasn't looking. That's the other thing. He didn't use the chainsaw against the waiter.
Yeah.
The dude was like, look, I just want my pudding.
Yeah, he was too involved with the pudding at that point to stop a waiter from...
I would be the same way. Don't get in the way of me and my dessert. I got some fucking tiramisu that I'm halfway through. I will chainsaw my way back into that restaurant.
Don't touch me and my cannolis. I'm going to finish this right now.
I got some chocolate cake ganache to finish.
Get away from me and my creme brulee.
I got some bananas Foster that needs to eaten. Oh.
Trying to bust out as many desserts as we could just now. So what's going to happen to this guy? Is he going to...
He could spend a year in prison.
A year in prison for...
Yeah, for trying to finish his pudding.
Wow.
I'm surprised we've gotten this far and we haven't gotten a fucking Jello pudding pop joke.
Well, he's going to get his pudding in prison. I'll tell you that much.
Get the year in prison with my Jello.
Is that supposed to be Fat Albert?
No, well, I mean, yes, it's, what's his name?
The
It's Cosby, who did Fat Albert. So, and if it's coming from me, my Cosby inevitably becomes Fat Albert. Hey, fuck my pudding, I fuck your rent run up. Stupid. Move on.
I wanted to bring this story up because this is another win for the marijuana industry. Potheads are skinnier, my friend.
What?
Marijuana advocates have another reason to celebrate herb. Research from the American Journal of Medicine shows that active pot smokers have a lower BMI, lower insulin levels, lower insulin resistance, and smaller waistlines than former hippies and squares. So yeah, potheads are skinnier.
Potheads is skinnier.
While the study does not give a conclusive reason why potheads maintain a svelte physique, the paper suggests cannabinoids positively affect metabolic processes.
Oh, right, it speeds you up. No, totally, right? I mean...
Well, the stereotype is that, some pothead takes a hit from the bong and just
sits around, you get the munchies, right.
Eat a bunch of T-Bell.
We have all been known to do, yes?
Exactly.
Like, I've eaten an entire deep dish pizza on munchies.
We can put down an entire can of Pringles, no problem, right?
Fucking 20 sack, a party pack of White Castle in a heartbeat. You and I have done that.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I mean, but I do shit when I smoke. Well, I don't smoke anymore, obviously. But I don't know why, obviously. I don't know. It's like, because I'm a grown-up and you two assholes need to grow up. I'm just
like you still smoke.
No, but yeah, like, you're active, Chuck, right? Like, it's...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, okay, yeah, we joke all the time that I'm a pothead, and yes, I do.
Pothead. Yes, you are lazy, and yes, you smoke weed.
Yeah, but not necessarily in that combination. Like, I'll smoke. I don't, I had the day off today. I was just kind of taking this day as a rest day since I just, I ran the half marathon yesterday. I wasn't sitting around smoking weed all day, even though I was just, like, hanging out. But, yes, I'm more of an active pothead where it's like, oh, we're going to the movies? Excuse me for a second, and just, like, get all blazed up.
Fucking bombing it.
This is some good shit.
Right. Rob Hubbard gets fucking blazed out of his mind and builds an entire Lego train set. A Lego universe in his basement.
That's right. So we are active potheads.
Yeah. And you know what? I did notice, because it's been quite some time, but in college and stuff, hanging out with a bunch of potheads, like, they would, like, I lost weight when I was smoking every day.
You did?
Probably because I didn't have any money for food, because I spent it all on weed. All right.
Well,
so
that's
there
awesome.
You go. Kids, if you want to lose weight, run a half marathon and smoke a bunch of pot.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear that there's actually scientific suggestion or evidence about this, because that's my sister told me that a long time ago that that potheads get skinnier, and she was always all about getting skinnier, and I just
but in
figured
really
some dude,
unhealthy
I just
ways.
figured some dude was just telling her that so that she would go ahead and smoke it.
No,
Like,
she.
before
Here,
you
smoke this, you'll get skinnier.
No.
You smoke and you act like potheads are little devils running around with marijuana cigarettes forcing people to smoke.
Well, these little pothead devils aren't telling us the truth of the matter. The American Journal of Medicine is. So
Yeah.
It's there's conclusive
Whacked.
Yeah.
But you can also maintain a healthy weight, right? Because a lot of folks use cannabis as a medicine to get their appetite back when they're doing chemo and stuff like that.
Oh.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's right. Eat some
So
pot brownies.
fucking there you go. Eat some pot brownies and have too much weed and stare at the ceiling for 6 hours.
That'll
Afraid to
Helping
move
you
because
right
your arms might fall off. Not that this ever happened to me, but if it
Never.
did, it would be really freaky.
It'd be really weird that one night.
That one night where Lynn and I took too much. Anyway, NYPD allegedly mistook Jolly Ranchers for meth rocks.
What?
Yeah, hard candy shouldn't get you a hard time,
Sure shouldn't.
but it do. A New York City man arrested for allegedly possessing meth rocks claims he was actually just carrying some Jolly Ranchers in his pocket, according to a federal lawsuit that was filed last week. Now, this
Oh,
guy's
God.
name is crazy. Let me see if I can get it. His name's Love Olatunjojo. First name Love.
We'll just go by love.
We'll go by Love. Love Olatunjojo. He's got to be Hawaiian, right?
Something like that. Or,
Something. He's fucking Samoan. What are you going to do?
Singaporean. He's Samoan.
He was 25 in June when he and another man were stopped by NYPD officers who found, quote, crystalline rocks of solid material, 4 blue and 2 red, according to a police report. This is what fucking Breaking Bad has done for the meth scene.
I know. Everyone's just like, shit, those are meth rocks. It's
Right.
really
It's like, you know what?
hot.
Most meth is not blue, okay? Because it's cooked in somebody's kitchen
Right.
in a trailer. Anyway, yeah, he was charged with drug possession, spent 24 hours in jail. Love says
Wow.
the rocks were nothing more than Jolly Rancher candies, which were still in their wrappers.
Oh,
According to the lawsuit, the sweets ultimately tested negative for controlled substances. Surprise.
Yeah.
And charges against Love and his friends were dropped. The complaint against the police contends that the officers violated his constitutional right to unreasonable search and seizure. He experienced emotional trauma and suffering as a result of his false arrests and imprisonment. says
Yeah,
the
I
suit.
mean, this guy, and his friend spent a full day in jail for having like strawberry and fucking blueberry Jolly Ranchers. in his
Yeah,
pocket.
yeah. You know what? I spent 12 hours in jail once. It was the worst 12 hours of my life.
Right.
And I deserved to be in there.
This man was buying some Halloween candy to hand out for Halloween. Gets pulled over. Jesus Christ.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, it's not the first, like, sweet to be, like, mistaken for a drug.
What else is? Oreos?
That is correct. Yes. Oreos. Rob Hubbard to the rescue. Yeah, Oreos. I don't know if you know this, Chuck, but I mean, it was all over Facebook, right? Oreos were recently found to be as addictive as cocaine.
Yeah, I did see this. That's crazy.
Yeah, and in fact, the lab rats that were tested, like they tested the chemicals in their brain, and they were more pleasure centers, like excited than with drugs. So they're actually like more addictive than cocaine.
So these rats were like, "Give me some more double stuff, man.
Yeah.
I need it."
You know, what's funny is they actually would take them, they would open them up first and eat the inside first. That's how they.
Just straight to the
Hey,
filling.
Shut up.
huh?
No, they didn't.
I'm just kidding.
They would pull them apart, lick the
It was
middle,
weird. They would
back
grab them in
together.
their little rat tails and dunk them in milk.
They were scratching themselves. They needed more.
And I believe it, though. I can recall quite a few nights on the road with Cooper Barnes doing the auto show stuff where my dinner was like a fifth of whiskey and a fucking box of Oreos.
Oh, God.
Oh,
That
I've
was
grown
pure
up since
cocaine.
then. Pure cocaine. Who needs cocaine?
Now you move on to cocaine now.
Right, now I've grown up. Now I snort cocaine. It's healthier for me, and it's less addictive. So,
Fuck Oreos.
oh man, that's not true, folks. Kids, stay clean.
Stay clean. Smoke your weed. Lose weight.
So, speaking of staying clean, someone who's not clean, but he does, as far as his language is concerned, our guest this week, although he does not do drugs, kids. We have our guest, Les Jenkins, host of the amazing internet podcast, StupidEvilBastard.com. Welcome to the show, Les Jenkins.
Woo! What's up, Les?
Hey, not much, guys.
Thanks for joining us this week,
Thanks
man.
for being on the show.
Oh, it's not a problem. Although I have to admit, after listening to your stories, I'm kind of boring.
No, trust me. We bring you on to add a little credit to our show.
Yeah.
If it was just those
We
stories, no one would listen.
We need your help.
I've never done an illegal drug intentionally.
Yeah, see?
I don't think I've ever spent time in jail.
Wait a minute, you've never done an illegal drug intentionally? Was there like an accidental, like, oh, I just ran into a heroin needle, god damn it.
Somebody slipped you a Mickey?
No,
I did that one Thanksgiving.
My brother did a fair amount of marijuana in his youth, and
Yeah.
if you hang around anybody that's smoking pot for any amount of time, I believe the phrase is a contact buzz.
Yes, that's
Wait.
what Rob's kid gets all the time.
So you're talking about Wes Jenkins, am I right?
That's correct. Yes.
Your brother Wes. Oh yeah, can we
Yes.
tell the story? So Les is my brother-in-law, but he has a brother, Wesley Jenkins. And how does this happen? Are you guys twins?
No, but it's worse than that. It's not just that we have similar first names; it's that we also have similar middle names.
No way.
So he's Wesley Roy Jenkins, and I'm Leslie Troy Jenkins. I love my mother; she's a wonderful person. But it's 5 years, Mom. You had 5 years to come up with something else.
Wow. So when she would like yell at one of you, did you always think it was like she was yelling for you, or like she'd be like, "Hey, Wes!" and you're like, "Oh."
Invariably, everybody that yelled at us would screw up our names. Les, you over there, get over here.
Yeah.
Asshole.
That happens in my family too, because we're all A names, but it's awkward when I have no brothers and 4 sisters, and I'm being called like 3 women's names before it gets to me.
I mean, even when your mom would yell out your full name, it would still sound completely similar.
Really like your brother, right?
Wesley Troy Jenkins. You're like, what? And then,
You, me. Which one is it? You?
Although when she was angry, she generally had no problem naming us pretty quickly. But no, there are certainly times when my grandparents even would be like, "Wes, no, you're Les. Yes, Les." And it's like, we're not that. We don't even look alike.
We're not twins.
Yeah, not unless hold up in the womb for 5 years.
I was blonde-haired as a kid. He had dark hair. I mean, he was short. I'm tall. He's skinnier than I am. We don't even look alike. But,
That's so funny.
Wow.
Doesn't stop the confusion.
So we had you on just not only because I wanted to spend more time with you, but also because you have a relatively famous blog. I mean, you also do podcasts and stuff, but as far as blogs go, it's up there. So you started this. You started Stupid Evil Bastard.
I'd say
What?
it's a D-list blog.
It's a what?
A D-list blog. It's not.
Hey, that's great.
Ours
it's
is like
not-
a W list blog.
Right.
It's all
Like,
shit.
I started it back in 2001. I've been going. It'll be 12 years, December 2nd.
oh my God, that's amazing.
Especially from me.
Were you on Blogger? What was the platform that it's on?
Oh yeah, what platform did you start on? Yeah.
The very first platform wasn't
Live
even
Journal?
really. No, it wasn't. LiveJournal didn't exist back then.
Holy
oh
shit.
God.
Okay. Back then, in fact, one of the first blogging platforms to come out was a one called Movable Type,
Movable type.
And I didn't even start on that. I started using a small Perl script. I think it was called Corantos or something like that, and it didn't even use a database. It stored everything in flat files. It had very basic templating ability. It was about as bare bones as you could get. And the funny thing is that that's not even my first website.
It isn't?
No. I started in 1996 with a single-page, handmade HTML page for anime shops in Metro Detroit.
Whoa!
Oh, wow!
Was it like black and green website? Like what? 1996. What was the internet like then?
It was very young in terms of having a lot of people on it. We're talking the days of dial-up. You know, when you were looking at your porn, it took you half the night to download.
Oh, absolutely, right?
You got
the picture
just to the nipples.
You're like, oh, come on, all I see is eyes.
Just to the nipples, and then the connection would drop. And
oh, God.
Mom, get on the phone!
I'm having like lots of blue balls memories being rushed back. Absolutely. That was like our freshman year of college, Chuck. There was like this website where you could go on and make your own website, though. I can't remember the name of it.
Angel Fire.
Was it like an Angel Fire thing or something?
GeoCities, Angel Fire, one of those. Yeah.
GeoCities, Angel Fire. They had a whole bunch.
Oh man. So the podcast is basically it's the shit you like, and it's about you, and it's the way that I can keep up with what's going on in your life without actually talking or interacting with you. Just sad. But how did it? But it's become very much like it's a blog about tech stuff. It's a blog about video games, and but it's also very sort of atheist driven. And how did that happen?
Well, back when I started, there weren't a whole lot of people blogging to begin with, and at the same time, there were even fewer people that were talking about atheism online or politics all that much. It was the blog itself came about because I have a big mouth,
right,
and the need to use it.
Yeah.
I figured I could put it out there on the web, and if people came by and they saw it and they read it and they enjoyed it, that'd be great. If they didn't, no one would know. Doesn't matter. It took a while to take off, but it grew pretty quickly after the first year or so, and it was really just anything that caught my ADD-addled attention.
Sure. Which we should tell our listeners, you actually are diagnosed with ADD.
I am.
But you weren't until much later, right? As opposed to like those kids who get it when they're...
That's correct. I grew up with ADD without knowing that I had ADD. I can remember struggling pretty hard in high school with trying to figure out what the hell was wrong with me. I was supposedly a very intelligent young man.
Yeah.
My IQ tested pretty high, but I couldn't seem to get my homework done, and unless it was something that interested me. If it was computers, I blew through that no problem.
All over it. Yeah.
So, or creative writing, blew through that class no problem. World history, not so much. But I was diagnosed because I have a daughter, and at the age of 8. She was originally living with her mother, but at the age of 8, she came to live with me, and we got into some counseling to deal with the transition. And the counselor came in and said, "Have you had her tested for ADD?" And I said, "Well, you see this on TV all the time. It's got kids bouncing off the walls.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me about it?" And so he described it, and I said, "Well, you just described half my life." He says, "Yeah, we're not surprised. It usually comes through the father."
Oh wow.
Got tested. Turns out, I've been ADD since forever, and didn't know about it for 31 years.
Wow.
But it certainly explained a lot, and once you know about it, you can work around it.
Absolutely. So, So we know you were born with ADD and dealt with it. Were you born a godless heathen? Was that?
No. My parents were never particularly religious, but my mother's always believed in a higher power of some sort. Not big church-going people, other than weddings and funerals, that sort of thing.
Right.
But in my, I'd say around 8 or 9, the local neighborhood kids dragged me off to a local church, and I became a God-fearing Christian for a while.
Watch out.
Was actually thinking about a career in the clergy at one point.
Really?
Yeah. And then I made the mistake of reading the Bible front to back.
That'll get you every time.
Cover to cover.
If you're looking for discrepancies in a faith, read everything.
And that's just it. I wasn't actually looking for any discrepancies or looking to ruin my faith. I was actually looking to understand it better.
Absolutely.
And first read through, came away from it a little disillusioned, ended up going to my pastor and talking to him about it and asking some questions. And he tried to answer as best he could, but eventually he got to the point where it was like, maybe this clergy thing isn't really for you.
Not for you.
And at that point, I started branching out, started checking out. So I was originally Baptist, started branching out, checked out some of the other Christian denominations to see if maybe they had any better things in the way of answers. And then eventually ended up investigating other religions, and as I got older and I got more into science education, started learning how the brain works, and started reading up on more science-related topics, and eventually got to a point where I just woke up one day and realized from where I was standing it kind of all looked the same, and if I were to honestly look back at my life and say this was something that was evidence of God in my life, unequivocal, there's no way I could say it was any other possibility. I didn't have anything like that. I've never had a religious experience that other people talk about. So
Shrooms
at that point,
help a lot
it wasn't,
for that.
well, at that point, it became a situation where you just acknowledge what you are at that point, which was I didn't believe in any gods at all.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you? This is probably getting this conversation way too in depth and serious. But how do you? Because that's I think sort of similar to a lot of the journey that I was on myself. But how do you reconcile the fact that the sort of reoccurring themes that happen in a lot of the religious faiths around the world, from all these different parts of the world, and do you think that there's a possibility that there's some sort of, I don't know, for lack of a better word, divine plan?
I don't think there's a plan per se. I think all religions are basically an attempt by folks to explain what they don't understand.
Yeah,
sure.
Most of the surviving religions come from Bronze Age or even more ancient peoples. They didn't understand what lightning was. They didn't understand what tsunamis were or earthquakes.
All right.
And it started as an attempt to try to explain the stuff they didn't understand. And at the same time, we're a communal people. We have to cooperate to survive.
Absolutely.
And one of the best ways to get people to cooperate is to try and put down some ground rules. The golden rule is a great rule. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in religion that's good in terms of ideas. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
yes.
Because unless you're a masochist, generally...
Like Chuck.
Sadist, masochist, yes, that's me.
You should try to treat people decently, and with any luck, they'll treat you decently in return.
Right, and obviously the irony behind that is that, especially to where religions have progressed and how they're used as sort of ways to control the masses, they've almost become excuses to do the exact opposite. They're used as excuses to hurt each other.
As I've gotten older, I think that it seems to me that's just there's always going to be that one asshole in the group that wants to have all the power and will use whatever tools are there. So on the one hand, yes, religions have been known to suppress and control and subjugate, but it's like any other human endeavor. Or any other human tool. There's an evil use and a good use for it. Okay? And you're always going to have some people that are going to try and manipulate whatever system they're working in, be it political or religious, to gain the upper hand and to have power and control over other people.
Exactly.
And so while at the one hand, people always ask me, do you think the world would be better off if there were no religion? To a degree, it would just be one less thing for people to fight over.
Yeah.
It wouldn't actually stop the fighting. People would find entirely new reasons to hate each other.
That's true. Chuck and I hate each other for lots of reasons, and religion's not one of them.
Plenty of reasons.
We use this podcast for our own evil means. There's Les
I would
uses
assume-
this podcast for good, and we.
Oh no, I'm totally out for world domination.
Oh, all right. Well
See?
then, at some point, we will have to battle.
Which is terrible considering that I haven't done a podcast in over a year at this point.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that podcast that happens once every 6 years.
I've got a friend of mine who lives in Colorado. His name's Dave Hill. He is sort of the more successful, friendlier version of me in many ways. We have a lot of the same interests, but he's a nice Christian boy. I'm not. I swear a lot more than he does, and he's much more successful at his job than I am. But other than that,
there you go.
we're pretty.
Jesus, get a better job.
Yeah, that seems to work for him. But we get together every now and then, and we'll record a podcast, and really, we don't know what we're doing. It really is literally two guys sitting on Skype, shooting the shit over whatever happened to capture our attentions, and we'll ask our readers for questions, and man, some of them come up with some great questions. I've had my own mother on my podcast in the past.
Oh.
Nice.
My mother refuses to
Yeah,
to listen
My
to
parents
my
don't
podcast.
listen to this show at
She
all.
says, I don't know why you have to use so many of those swears. And then she says, it's very sweet, it's very funny, I'm glad you're happy, but I can't listen to that trash. I
Well,
believe.
if it makes you feel any
sick
better,
trash.
my mother will probably watch this one just because I'm on.
All right, we'll try to keep it clean.
Oh no, don't bother with that. Come on, around our house, asshole was a term of endearment.
Nice.
So, speaking of language, in your blog, you are quite liberal, as you said, with your language and your viewpoints. But I think one of my favorite things that you do is address letters that come in, the SEB,
The SEB mailbags, yeah.
and so for our listeners, Les will get these letters from folks who are almost always, they're usually sort of very religious or right-wing people who agree vehemently against what he's saying. And you proceed to tear them a new asshole, which is just beautiful. In this fun, intellectual, tongue-in-cheek kind of way. What's the best mailbag you've done, or that you remember doing?
Oh, geez, that's a good question. There's been so many of them. Oh man, I don't have a good answer to that.
Well, you could talk about the most recent one you did. Maybe that's easier.
Well, let me see if I can look that one up for you real quick here.
That was this week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
We're all getting old. Well, let me see if. What was that? 24 hours ago? Shit.
Yeah, this person had written in. It was a what I call a drive-by attempt at conversion.
Yes, that's nice.
They kind of wanted to save my soul, but really didn't have the time. So
You just bust us out of it.
the whole email consists of the following. It consists of, God so loved you that he now even give you the chance again to call upon his son Jesus Christ's name, just to give him a chance in your life. You are going to stand in any case in front of him one day. Jesus loves you, and that is why I also love you. Please give Jesus a chance.
Wow.
Sent from my BlackBerry wireless device.
Like,
That was the entire thing.
clearly, he didn't even have time to proofread what he'd written.
Right.
The whole first sentence I sat there going, okay. But like I said in my response, my first thing I said was, first off, thanks for taking the time to sit down and compose such an amazing argument on your BlackBerry. It just shows how shallow your concern for my soul really is, that you couldn't be bothered to make sure it was completely comprehensible, required more than 2 thumbs to type. But basically, my statement to him was, if you really wanted to take the time to try and convert me, you should probably get to know me a little bit. I've been blogging for 12 years. There are almost 8,000 entries on my blog. They're broken down by category, including one that's called About Me, where I talk about my religious past, I talk about my move to atheism, I talk about my current viewpoints, why I have the viewpoints that I have. And this person just shot in and decided that I'd never even given Jesus a chance. So
Sure.
just give Jesus a chance, and you'll be fine. Well,
I mean, that's what happens when that's part of what that's like on your checklist of being a good Christian is you have to try to convert people. So you obviously the best way to do that is to Google atheist and then just get out your BlackBerry and start posting shit.
that's right. And the other thing I wanted to point out is he says you're going to stand in any case in front of him one day, which I assume means I'll eventually stand in front of Jesus and be judged. The statement only makes sense if you already believe in God.
Or
To
the
an
concept
atheist-
of an afterlife, yeah.
Yeah, to an atheist, it doesn't make any sense to
Right.
say that to us because we don't
Yeah.
believe that's going to happen. You might as well say, you better continue to leave out cookies for Santa Claus because one day you're going to meet him and he's going to be pissed.
Which we should mention. As an atheist, this is my favorite part about you as an atheist. You're a huge fan of Christmas.
I'm a huge fan of Christmas.
You
I
love Christmas?
I love Christmas.
Now, how do you reconcile that?
How's that come together?
Oh, fuck, it's an excuse to give people toys and better yet, to get toys.
Yeah, but you also decorate.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
I mean, obviously, Christmas is at best a conglomeration of pagan and Christian religions, but
That's primarily why I go ahead and celebrate it. One, I have very fond memories of it from my childhood.
What do you like when you decorate? Do you put together like a nativity scene? Are you?
No, I don't have.
You don't have like an advent. You have an
the
advent.
crucifix on the door.
I don't have the angel on the tree.
Sure.
My tree has a snowflake on top, but
Which he
no,
leaves up well into like March.
no.
I'm just kidding.
My wife wouldn't allow that. It has to be down by her birthday.
So toys are the reason for the season. Then.
It's a good excuse to get together with family and friends you haven't seen in a while, eat a
Yeah.
lot of food you shouldn't eat, and try to make each other happy.
Cool.
That's as good a reason to celebrate Christmas as any, if you ask
Sure
me.
is.
That's awesome.
And I love putting up the lights. I love decorating the tree. The fact that it has its origins in pagan tradition. The way I look at it, the Christians stole it from the pagans, so why shouldn't I do the same and steal it from them?
Right.
Well, nice. I like that. So speaking of like getting things, especially gifts, one of the perks for having a blog that's so famous is you get free shit all the time.
Not all the time, but yeah, I've gotten a fair amount of free shit over the years.
So what's some of the best stuff that you've gotten? We should explain, one, how you get the free shit and some of the favorite shit.
Well, I have my Amazon wish list listed on my blog, just on the off chance that somebody actually wants to buy me something.
Which that is, Les also single-handedly, when he came into the family, he like redesigned how we bought gifts for each other. He was like, hey, everybody, there's this thing called an Amazon wish list. You don't have to randomly shoot in the dark when you're giving gifts to each other. And we've
Look,
never been happier as a family. So thank you for that.
There's cheap shit on there, and there's expensive shit on there.
Yeah,
Pick
yeah.
something.
You don't have to buy cheap
I
shit
like
nobody likes. Yeah.
That's right. You don't have to give me that dinosaur fossil that is basically a rock. Yeah, I know.
I mean,
like
it has
science,
done
but-
away with my dollar store Christmas shopping at Christmas Eve, but
That's a good thing.
it's a
Well,
good thing.
Now you're gonna have to remind me what your question was. Oh, the
Okay,
free
so,
stuff.
Yeah. So about the gifts and stuff that you've gotten for free for your blog and how you got those.
Primarily by just blogging. There's been a number of different things. There's been some people know I'm a tech support guy. I do a lot of computer support, so occasionally I'll get somebody that asks me for help with their computer. There was a gentleman that I helped replace a hard drive over the phone in another state, and then walked him through getting the operating system on, and then I remoted into his system and finished the installation of his drivers and stuff for him.
Wow.
It took about 6 hours over the phone to do it all.
Wow.
This was several years ago, and as a thank you, he was like, well, how much do I owe you? And I was like, you know what, buy me some stuff off my wish list. He's like, oh, I see you want it. This was before World of Warcraft came out. So I see you want World of Warcraft. And I said, oh, yeah, but, my daughter's going to want to play, my wife's going to want to play, so don't worry about that. Just get me something else, because if I were to start playing it without them, they'd be upset. So this box arrives, and it has 3 copies of World of Warcraft in it. One for me, one for the wife, one for my daughter. So I never paid for the first World of Warcraft game, other than the monthly subscription.
Right.
Around the time the first expansion came out, I got unemployed. I was let go from Ford Motor Company, had been out for a while. The expansion came out. I threw up a blog post real quick that said, the new expansion's out, and people are playing it. I can feel it in my teeth! Just a throwaway blog post. Someone at Blizzard, and I don't want to name them because I don't want to get them in trouble, but someone at Blizzard was a fan of the blog.
Oh my God.
Sent me an email saying, hey, I know you're a big fan of WoW. I've got some CD keys. If you can get a hold of the media, which I'm sure you can figure out how to do, I'll give you a free key for the new expansion.
Oh my God.
I don't know this guy from Adam's Cat, so I'm starting to compose a reply that says, well, that's great. I appreciate it. Because for all I know, these are pirated keys.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. So, but, I should really find a job, blah, blah, blah. And just about the time I'm about to hit send, I notice his signature says, so-and-so, head of such-and-such, Blizzard Entertainment Incorporated.
Wow.
And I was like,
these
oh
are
my God, you work at Blizzard! Total fanboy at that point.
That's awesome.
Like, well, sure, I'll take the key, no problem.
That's so cool.
So I didn't pay for the first expansion either. I think we didn't pay for a WoW game until the second expansion came out. That was the first one we actually bought.
That's awesome.
There was another gentleman that I helped with tech support over the phone, and he bought enough stuff off my wish list that was all pre-order stuff that for the next year, every month, I got a new thing in the mail.
Whoa.
Because he bought it's like Half-Life 2 and something else. And then there's other stuff like I've gotten books for free. There's Penn and Teller's. You're familiar with Penn and Teller?
Yes.
Oh yeah. One
Penn
guy doesn't
Jillette.
talk, the other guy's fat. Yeah.
Yeah, Penn Jillette wrote a book, and it's terrible. I can't remember the name of it now. It's somewhere around here. But his publisher got in contact with me because my blog came up as one of the bigger atheist blogs out there, and asked if I wanted a copy to review, and so I did that.
Cool.
Someone else I know from blogging sent me his first novel.
Lovely assistant.
George
Yes.
Essex.
Yes.
Awesome.
I got that for free. He asked me if I'd review it, and in fact, actually used a quote from me on his website for the book.
All right.
So I mean, every now and then I'll get an email from somebody saying, "Hey, I've got a book about this. Do you think you want to review it?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not really into naked yoga." So
Chuck
I don't
is,
know them
though,
to,
so
I'm not
next time that
saying-
happens, you make sure you pass along to Chuck.
Yeah, let me get the Naked Yoga book. I love that.
But so not only getting free stuff, you also get to, you've gotten to you were like a little mini celebrity. You were on Canadian television? I
was on Canadian television once. They have a national news program. It's kind of like their version of Nightline.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
This was back just before George W. Bush was reelected. They did a special called The Great Divide, where they invited folks from the United States to come over and participate in what was supposed to be a roundtable discussion. And apparently I was the only liberal they could find because they invited me, and I show up to this thing, and there's chairs in the audience, and they got our names on it. We sit down, and it turns out that they had I can't remember his name now, but he's the head of the it was a American Family Association of Michigan, the guy that basically got the gay marriage ban pushed through.
Oh, yeah. Yikes.
So he was one of the guys in the audience. There was a Catholic bishop that was in the audience.
Wow.
So all the conservatives and the American conservatives in the audience are these big name Michigan conservatives, and then there's little old me for the liberal.
We
Joe
got
Blow
some
Nobody.
dude who's got a website.
No, he's like, there's some idiot with an extremely obscene website. Why don't we have him on as the liberal? He's a classic liberal,
That's awesome. And it
the
went
truth
well, though,
was,
then.
Yeah, I got to stand up and make a statement, and it was another 2 minutes of my 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, well, this was another 30 seconds. So
Yep.
you're welcome.
Well, and you of course remember that I do have one small acting claim.
I do. I was telling Chuck that before. I was like, Chuck, I'm pretty
Yeah, what
sure
was
he's
it?
done more professional work than we have.
Tell us about it.
I have a small voice role in an anime.
What?
Yeah, voiceover artist Les Jenkins.
Yeah.
Well, what was the anime? What is it?
It's called Kite.
All right.
It was originally a one-shot OAV, and in Japan it was technically a porno.
Hey,
It had some
Les
hardcore
Jenkins.
sex scenes in it.
Voiceover anime porn.
I know. But they cut most of that out when they brought it to the States. I believe they eventually re-released an unedited version, but the initial version was edited to take out all the graphic sex scenes.
And that's the one you got to do the voiceover for.
Yes, I had a small part. I played a molester.
It was
Les?
a really big part until they cut it.
No, it was a small part to begin with. But I was actually the first voice they recorded for it.
Oh, wow.
That's
I was
cool.
actually down in Wilmington, North Carolina or actually near Wilmington, North Carolina for Animazement that year. It was a convention I was covering. This was back when I ran anime-related websites.
Ah, yes.
And I knew the owner of the dub studio, and he invited me back to Wilmington to see how the process works firsthand. And I ended up coming down with a cold that weekend, so I was like, well, they're never going to use the voice in the anime. He's like, oh, no, that's perfect. I got just the part for you. I need somebody who sounds really sleazy. And I was like, okay, what is it? He's like, it's a molester. I'm like, oh, great.
Lester, the child molester.
So I get shot and killed with exploding bullets.
No, awesome.
You have to watch this.
Yeah, right? God.
But yeah, it's a short, probably a minute and a half scene. I'm a Japanese male businessman riding on an escalator talking with his friends about what they're going to do that weekend. And we get
I've got to molest some children.
I'm going to molest some babies is what I'm going to do this weekend.
That's the implication, yeah.
God.
And the main character is an assassin, a young girl who's an assassin who's brought up by the police detective to be an assassin, and she's on assignment where she meets up with a young boy who's been raised the same way, and both of their targets are us three businessmen. So I've got, I think it was 2 lines, a grunt, and a death grunt.
Yeah, the grunts. Those are my favorite voiceover things to do ever. I got to do those for an animated cartoon comic book that I did, and I got like the or falling off a cliff. That was one.
Well, the funny thing is at one point, as a distraction, there's an explosion set off in a car park, and he has me scream out, "Jesus Christ!" But it's the explosion's so loud, it's the one line you can't hear.
Oh. He's like, that's what started my career as an atheist, and I'm going to get hear it.
Was being in an anime and screaming.
Favorite line.
Well, maybe I could bring you into my acting class. You could do the voiceover workshop.
I know even less about that than I do about doing podcasts.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on our podcast.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Having some professional flair. So, yeah, thank you. And folks,
hopefully it was interesting.
it was super interesting, and it's 10 times more interesting if you look at the awesome Hawaiian shirt that Les is wearing the whole time. So go to Google Hangouts and
Or his cat. Your cat was hanging
or
out.
your cat. Well, is that which cat is that?
Cuddles was probably the one that was wandering by.
Cuddles.
Yeah, Cuddles. I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised it didn't end up on my shoulders because usually when I sit forward like this, he tries to be parrot cat.
He was on the chair. He was on the chair earlier.
Yeah,
Was he?
He does that. And
This has become a theme. Our guests bringing on their pets. We should just turn this into like an Animal Planet podcast.
That's awesome. Cool. Thank you so much, Les Jenkins, IT guy, super nerd, atheist, podcast host and blogger of stupidevilbastard.com.
So yeah, folks, we're gonna have all that stuff on the Facebook page, and we'll link. Lester, you don't have like a Facebook page for your podcast, do you? Or for your blog? No. We'll post to it, and you can follow Les on Google Plus too, and he'll post all his stuff from his blog. And yeah. Follow him. He's funny.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on.
I hope at some point, Errol, that we start to like receive gifts.
Free shit?
Yeah, free shit.
Exactly.
However,
that's why I brought it up. I was like, if there's anybody listening, but what would they give us? Like,
see, they would send us a bunch of food. Like it would be like,
oh yeah, Jolly Ranchers.
Right, they'd be sending us like McDonald's and stuff, and then at that
Oreo
point,
cookies.
Like, right, and at that point, it's very questionable. You don't want to like eat something that somebody you don't know is like sent you. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you don't. Like, I'll eat it in a heartbeat.
Oh God!
maybe someone will ask us to review some anime porn. I love anime porn.
Rob, that was the creepiest thing you've ever said.
From the Rob Hubbard files.
Rob Hubbard, get him a package of socks and some anime porn for Christmas, kids.
And a shreddy, so he doesn't have to get up.
Shreddy socks.
Hey, don't ask him what he's using those socks for.
We had a guy on our comments section. He was really just kind of patrolling, figuring out how this works. But he offered he says hi, but he offered a shameless plug for his Facebook.
He did. Look at this.
Some Aussie Dudes, Cultures, and Community. Oh, wait. Some Aussie Dudes, Cultures, and Community.
Oh, he tried to join. He was like, how do I join? Like, you don't join this show, motherfucker. Listen.
Hey, be nice. Still
sorry, some Aussie Dude. You've got like one potential fan, and I'm
plug here.
So yeah,
you're like, what an asshole.
That was on Google Plus.
Yeah, it's like a whole conversation you can check out between Rob and some Aussie dude. That's what Rob was doing while we were doing our podcast. Some Aussie dude who's got an awesome motorcycle on his Google Plus page.
You're checking out his Google Plus now?
Hell yeah, some Aussie dude. Fucking come on the show.
Yeah, I was talking to him and then I heard anime porn. And I perked up over back into our show.
You're a weird pervert. Okay, that's about all the time we've got, folks, because I am tired. I'm going to bed.
That's right. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/WestXMidwest, or you can find us on Twitter. The handle's @West_X_Midwest. You can email us at WestXMidwestPodcast@gmail.com. Watch our show on YouTube. Just search out West X Midwest on YouTube. And subscribe, stream, download, write a review on iTunes.
iTunes.
And tell a friend.
Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Tell more atheists to listen to the show.
That's right. And we'll be back next week with a special Halloween episode. So
thanks again to our guest, Les Jenkins, for coming on the show. And folks, definitely tune in next week. We're having a full Halloween themed West X Midwest. Rob, have you
extravaganza?
West Extravaganza Midwest. Rob, have you booked anybody from the Haunted Society?
This is a post-production conversation, not in front of our audience conversation.
So we may have some fun special guests.
What's the matter with you?
Not have a guest next week.
We may not have a guest next week because Rob couldn't find a guest. But even if we don't, we're going to be telling scary ghost stories, and it's going to be
in costume.
A real ghouly night. I don't know. I got no.
Spooky night on West X Midwest.
A spooktacular episode of West X Midwest.
So join us next week. I'm Chuck Anchori.
I'm Errol Gribble. On behalf of our producer Rob Hubbard, this has been
West
by Midwest. See you next week. Sorry for waking me up.
Just woke up your girlfriend.
Ooh, that crush on you. That crush on you.